Week 3 in college football. Thin slate, Ted. It's a bit thin.
It is, which always means we're going to get an unbelievable round of games, right?
Chaos is coming. We just don't know where it's coming from.
That's
Let's
right.
start in Columbia, Missouri. Number 15, Kansas State, goes to Mizzou. This will be 11 a.m. on SEC Network. Kansas State currently a 5-point favorite, a suspiciously small line. Now, remember, Kansas State smacked Mizzou last year in Manhattan, just beat the absolute hell out of them. But it's certainly different going on the road. Kansas State is coming off a really nice win, though, against Troy, where they beat the hell out of Troy in the second half. And Missouri barely got by Middle Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the odds makers are thinking here, but it does feel like a lot's on the line for Eli Drinkwitz in this game. Losing to SEC teams is one thing. If Kansas State comes into your house and beats the hell out of you like they did last year, his hot seat, becomes scorching.
Yeah. And this is a big game. This is a battleground recruiting game.
Yeah.
Right.
These schools are not far apart.
Right. This is that Kansas City area. I mean, they're all trying to pluck the best talent out of there. And I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. That line is like, kitty, 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 kitty. I don't know what's going on, but it looks way too easy. Oh, Kansas State's going to kill Missouri. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but if I'm just thinking about it straight up, I feel like Kansas State and Will Howard, the way he's played early, should be able to handle this one, pretty convincingly, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. So this is, if you're looking to like, how can this line be this? K-State's offensive line, which there was a ton of talk about them coming into the season, right? It's been in flux a bit, right? The right tackle Duffy, he's been banged up. They've had to move some guys around, some guys they've plugged in, haven't played particularly well. Like Cooper Beebe's having to go all over the place. And I think that has resulted in them not running the ball very efficiently with Giddens and Ward. And when you look at Missouri, like the strength of their entire football team is that D line.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Robinson on the edge there, like he's a good player. He's an NFL player. So Missouri's been very solid along the defensive front for a little bit. And that K-State O-line's a little banged up and hasn't played up to the expectation. But Will Howard has been fantastic. He's been really good through 2 games. And when you look at this matchup, sometimes you just look at head coach and quarterback, right? And I don't think there's any doubt that Kansas State's got the better head coach in Chris Kleiman, and they got the better quarterback in Will Howard. Brady Cook he doesn't do it for me. Now, Luther Burden, that guy's a stud. That wideout for him. Yep. Stud. He's going to have to have a special day, in my opinion, for Missouri to be in this one. But there's something to be said about the desperation. Like the head coach needs a win. You're at home. It's going to be sold out. Place is going to be rocking. But I don't know, man. Like I think Kansas State's a much better football team than Missouri.
I do too. The line has got me a little skittish. The offensive line has got me a little skittish, but if a team Kansas State usually travels really well, right? With just kind of the overall philosophy of their team, typically travel really well. It is an early kick. I think that is in K-State's favor. Anytime you're going on the road, you prefer that early kick before the crowd really gets too crazy. But I don't know. If I'm picking it, I would pick K-State handily.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, what's the timeline on getting healthy on the O-line? Do you know, with the right tackle?
They're hoping to get him back this week, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole thing was, hey, all 5 of these guys are coming back, like we're all good. And him going down has resulted in a lot of moving parts. So, but Will Howard's been really good. They've been really good. They're pushing it down the field more like I thought they would. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if that ends up being being a big part of the game. Oh, did you see Eli Drinkwitz? Did you
No,
see his presser?
no.
He was talking about Chris Kleiman, and then he started talking about the offensive coordinator, right? Who's Colin Klein? Who anyone that's been in college football for a while, like, knows who Colin Klein is. He almost won the Heisman Trophy,
Yep.
right? He was like, yeah, their offense coordinator. I think that he calls him CK. He does a good job. It was like, oh,
Does he really not know who he is?
that's how it made it seem, dude. Which, you want to talk about the number one way to piss off K-State people? Tell them you don't know who Colin Klein is. I mean, the guy can't help himself.
He's the worst press conference head coach I've ever seen.
Oh, it's brutal, dude.
Brutal.
You don't need any of that. Like, now Colin Klein is looking at going, okay, you're going to know my name after this game. That's for damn sure.
Right.
We're going to score 60.
Wow. God.
So I saw that and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and lay the points with the Wildcats. A little disrespect to Colin Klein. Okay.
That's a strategy.
Yeah. All right. Next game. Number 11, Tennessee, traveling to the Swamp. Tennessee currently a 6-point favorite. This game's 6 p.m. on ESPN. The spread certainly caught my attention, Ted.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think is it as simple as, we really haven't seen Tennessee play anyone good, right? People may not be sold on Joe Milton. And let's just be real. The Swamp is not an easy place to play, and this is a massive rivalry. So you think that's what the low number is all about? Because Florida certainly has not impressed up to this point. Like, we all watched the Utah game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think anytime you get a game like this, there's so much uncertainty, and I think if you keep it tight, you get a lot of action, one way or the other. I like Tennessee personally. I still haven't seen anything from Florida that makes me think that they've got some individual players here and there, but I don't think they're any good. Now, I guess I still don't know how good Tennessee is, but I feel like they're in a much better spot than Florida is, but you never know. I mean, this would be a game that could potentially save the early part of Florida season. And that they'll be amped up, they'll be keyed up, and they've got to pull out all the stops for this one. I mean, it's been tough. It's a tough early schedule for Florida, but I mean, if you drop this game, and especially if you drop it convincingly, then it's going to be some angry people down there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, this was a close game in Knoxville last year, right? 38-33 win for the Vols in that one. And we know how good that Tennessee team was a year ago. This is, I think when you look at this game, which team can help their quarterback more, right? Which team can get the run game going? We saw Florida really struggle to run it against Utah with Johnson and ETN, right? Going up against that Vols defense. Can they get the run game going and help Graham Mertz out? Same thing for Tennessee. You and I know Heupel are going to want, he's going to want to pound the rock, right? And put Joe Milton in manageable situations, right? Lean on that run game with Jalen Wright and Jabari Small. Right? And those are two, there's some good running backs in this game. But for whatever reason, I see this going for one of two ways for Joe Milton. He's either going to absolutely light it up and take the soul out of Florida fans everywhere, right? And we're all going to be talking about how gifted he is and how dangerous Tennessee can be moving forward, or he's going to be the reason they lose the game. I think it's one of those. It on the spectrum, it's going to be one of the extremes. I don't think we're going to come on the podcast on Sunday and go, you know what? Joe Milton really managed the game well. I just don't foresee that. I think it's going to be one or the other. He was awful or he was fantastic.
I think that's a good way to put it. And it's probably for him mentally and for hype and how they're going to call the offense and what their identity is going to be. it's probably kind of a keystone game for all of that as well, right? If you can go on the road against a team like Florida and make good, smart decisions, make some big plays, have the confidence to let it fly whenever you have the opportunities, then that's going to build a lot of confidence in your offensive coordinator with how they're going to call stuff for you moving forward. You spit the bit, you tighten up, you can't dial in and hit the big plays. That's going to affect the way they call it moving forward as well. So I'm with you. It's either going to be the Tennessee's not any good because they don't have Hooker, or it's going to be Milton on Heisman watch type of game. I'm with you.
Exactly. That's what I see. Now, on the Florida side of things, if I was betting on the game, I'd lay the points with Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Because with what I've seen up to this point, Florida just looks disorganized. I don't trust them to do the little things that it takes to beat a good football team right now. I just don't. I don't trust them to limit penalties. I don't trust them to play at a high level on special teams, and win the hidden yardage battle. I don't trust Mertz to take care of the football. I don't trust it. It just feels disorganized, and I feel like Hype's got that stuff buttoned up at Tennessee. So we'll see. I'm excited to watch this game, but I don't really see it going well for Florida. But hey, you never know.
Elite uniform matchup, best of the weekend.
Florida's jerseys are awesome.
Tennessee's whites look good too.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be an aesthetically pleasing. Also, Florida, tremendously green grass, right?
Yeah, fast track. It's interesting. We were talking about it. I think almost every team in the SEC has grass.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
A&M,
Why do you think that's
LSU, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, all grass. I think there's a couple of them mixed in there. I don't know what Kentucky has and everything, but I like that.
I'm a fan as well. All right. Any other games this weekend that interest you? Right. Normally we try to pick 3. There are some teams that OU's about to play in action, right? Cincinnati, take care of business against Miami, Ohio, so that game's got a lot of hype, please. You guys have been fantastic up to this point. Please take care of business. Thank you.
I'm curious to see BYU and Arkansas. I haven't seen much from BYU. I know Arkansas's got their quarterback. He's back healthy, ready to roll. I'm still trying to figure out where exactly everyone, the new teams in the Big 12 are. Cincinnati, we got a good idea with them. BYU, I think that game's got some interest there. The West Virginia game's got some interest, but it's kind of a slow week. We don't know where the hidden gems are going to be.
Yeah, I'm hoping for our guy Neil Brown. He needs that game, man.
I know.
He needs it. They got to win the backyard brawl. They got to beat Pitt. He needs that game desperately, right? Especially with it being in Morgantown. Got to win that one.
Tough opening part of the season for them, man.
Yeah. And I am. You look at some of these betting lines, like Oklahoma State is a 7-point favorite at home against South Alabama. That's one where you look at it and go, really? And South Alabama is not a bad football team, right? They got some talent. But I guess the odds makers, they weren't impressed with what the Pokes did in Tempe, and they're not they don't have faith in the 3-headed monster at QB for the Cowboys.
I guess not. I mean, it's kind of hard to, that game against Arizona State, at times they looked very, very pedestrian. And then other times, in the second half, they looked really good. So what are you going to get from them? Who knows?
Yeah. It's a confusing football team. I'm with you on BYU at Arkansas. I think it'll kind of just tell us where Kalani Sitake's program is at right now. Now, Arkansas is not some juggernaut of an SEC team right now. They're not. So maybe that one's interesting. And then there is the hilarious option. Wyoming, Texas, in Austin. You and I, we showered them with praise, and they deserved it, right? They absolutely deserved it with what they did last week down in Tuscaloosa. But it'd be kind of hilarious if Wyoming gave Texas a game, right?
Yeah, this is part of the thing with Sarkisian, there's been moments before where Texas has flashed for 1 or 2 games, but traditionally, at least over the last decade, they have not handled success well at all. So curious to see how they show up. I mean, this one, I feel like Texas is going to be okay in this one. That Kansas game, though, is going to be a different animal. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. Jayhawks look good against Illinois.
I think they're going to be undefeated.
They had like 6 sacks and 9 TFLs against Illinois.
Yeah. I think so. They've got like someone random this week, and then who's their first Big 12 game? Because I think they're going to win. Maybe it's BYU? Is it BYU?
Kansas is on the road at Nevada. Nevada? How do you say that? Nevada?
I say Nevada.
I think I say Nevada too. They're on the road at Nevada this week, and then BYU comes to town next weekend.
I think they're going to be undefeated before they play Texas.
I agree. And I hope they wear those black uniforms against Texas. Those things are sweet.
Yeah.
I was shocked that their defensive line did what they did against Illinois. Impressive stuff. Watch out for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, and you know what you're going to get on offense, quarterback, running back. I mean, they're going to make some plays.